Even if you are working in SMIT, if you are in the lab, CA lab, the different IP address will work. And if you are going to your hostel, different IP address is required. Now the point is that who will give me the correct IP address? Who will give me the correct IP address? Okay, so to give the IP address, and it is not only about the IP address. We have three important things along with the IP address. The other one is the first one, as I stated, that the IP address. The second one is the subnet mask. Okay, so these details we have already seen. Second one is subnet mask, and in short I'll write subnet. And the third one is what? Third one is what? Not only third one, there are fourth one also. That is known as DNS address. Okay, so this is also required, DNS address, and the other one is also known as alternative DNS. Okay, so let us not move to alternative DNS, only we'll stick towards the DNS. Okay, so alternative DNS nothing but if the primary DNS will not work, then we will go for alternative DNS. So this sort of configuration is required when my computer needs to operate on the internet. So first of all, we have to acquire this information. If we do not acquire this information, if we do not have this information, definitely we cannot work on the internet. Now there is two mechanisms of acquiring this all addresses. One mechanism is known as static. One mechanism is known as static. In case of static, manually, as a network engineer, if we have a knowledge, we can statically configure my computer. The other one is other mechanism is known as automatic. Okay, so in case of automatic, it take help from where? From DHCP server. So there must be a DHCP server in my network, and that DHCP server is supposed to configure my computer. I think things may be clear to you. First one is static, the second one is automatic. In case of static, I have to manually configure. And how do I manually configure? I must be knowing. And how do I know? So network administrator must have told me that this should be your configuration. For example, if you go in any big institution like in IIT KGP, you go everywhere, like house number is written in the colony. Similarly, in every lab, in every computer, you will find the static configuration detail. What is there in the static configuration? What should be the IP address? What should be the subnet mask? What should be DNS? And what should be the default gateway? Okay, so these details will be available, written over some pages and pasted on the computer or in front of the lab, or maybe on the notice board. They also display the things on the website. So just seeing the map of the network, you will understand that what should be my IP address. Nowadays, SMIT has also adopted the same procedure. and SMIT has announced that the every faculty members should acquire this configuration. The advantage is that if you do it automatic, then those details are not required, but we need an infrastructure. What is the infrastructure? One DHCP server must be installed. One DHCP server must be installed, and who is responsible to configure my computer? Who is responsible to configure my computer? Okay. Now, when my system will boot, automatically my system will generate a DHCP request. Now, there is a very genuine question. That, sir, my computer is just booting. So how do my computer will come to know that who is DHCP server? And then it should make a DHCP request from that server? That is a very genuine question. But yes, I would just like to tell that whenever in a computer, not in this scenario, if we do not know the destination, okay, means destination means who is going to serve you, you do not know, then what you do? You will broadcast. Just like I have some work, but I do not know who can help me to do that work, then what I'll do? I will just announce. Okay, I may announce in class, I may announce in somewhere else also. Okay, so everywhere I am announcing, and definitely somebody will stand for me and get my work done. Same procedure is adopted here. DHCP request is basically broadcasted. Okay, so when just like a Ether ARP request, in case of ARP request also, we do not know who is going to reply. So what we do? We make all F in when I am framing the ARP request. Okay, so when I am preparing the Ethernet frame, at that time I put destination MAC address is all F. Okay, so similarly we do here also. We do all F. So it is going to be, request is going to be broadcasted in the entire network, and certainly there will be one DHCP server installed in my network, and that DHCP server will give the reply. Okay, so that reply will help my computer to configure IP, subnet, default gateway, and DNS. So this is the first procedure to get the IP address. So this is the automatic and DHCP. So it is nothing new. Many a times you will be using cellular phone also. There also we get an automatic DHCP address. We do not know that what should be the IP address of my phone. We do not know. Even many people do not have never seen that what is the IP address of my cellular phone. But yes, it doesn't mean that this configuration is not there. Yes, without this configuration, no computer can proceed on the internet. These are essential, and these are going to be automatically assigned by the DHCP server. Practically also, today we will practically show that how to configure a DHCP server and how DHCP server is assigning the IP address to an individual computer. Practically we will see. Okay, so this is the first detail that we have seen. The another detail, default gateway must be known to you. That is just a gate from where you can go outside. Okay, so every network must require a gate, and that gate is basically the router. I think it is very easy to understand. If any student having still any problem, please raise your voice. Okay, so you can interrupt me any moment of time when you get any difficulty while need to know the IP address of Google. So it is just take a mapping. Okay. So I'm not writing HTTP www dot. So I'll just write the name of the web server and the corresponding IP address. Okay. Similarly, Yahoo. Okay. Similarly, Gmail. So maybe these are mail server, but their corresponding IP address or some other like YouTube. Okay, so all the web servers which may be available in the entire network or internet. For that, what are the web server and what is their corresponding IP address, all is recorded there in the DNS server. All is recorded. This mapping is recorded. And if you remember my previous lecture, I have already stated that without the destination IP address, you cannot throw your packet outside your computer. So if you want to send some packet to the Google server, you must be knowing the IP address of Google server. Now, who will give the IP address of Google server? For that, you have to connect with DNS server. So again क्या करना होगा, आपको एक रिक्वेस्ट करना होगा and that is known as DNS request. उस DNS रिक्वेस्ट में क्या रहेगा कि भाई मैं google.com देखना चाहता हूं. I just wanted to visit google.com. I just wanted to see a page, Google page. Okay, so this is my web server. Oh, what is the corresponding IP address? I do not know the IP address. I just know the name of the web server. So this request I make it to the DNS server, and DNS server will make a reply. Now this time, since what is the address of DNS server is known. Who has given me the address of DNS server? The DHCP has already configured my computer, and since I have configured my computer, I know the IP address of DNS server. Okay, so if I know that who is DNS server, I will make a request. Okay, and this corresponding mapping is available, and then is going to be resolved. Okay, so this is known as resolve. Okay, so your query is going to be resolved. Your query will only be resolved when the requested website having an entry in the DNS server. Okay, so if you have requested such a web server which entry is not available in the DNS, then that is going to be unresolved. So that is how I just wanted to tell you that it doesn't mean that anyone can launch a web server. Okay, so if you are launching a web server, you must have to do the DNS registration. DNS registration. That is why launching a web server required some investment. Without the registration, you cannot launch a web server. It doesn't mean that you have an internet connectivity and through your mobile phone you can launch a web server. Yes, you can, but you have to do the registration. And once you have done registered for that web server, then your IP address is going to be registered there, and definitely that this IP address is remaining always the same. I think it is easy. You have understood. Okay, same procedure. I'll briefly depict with the help of the PPT. So this gives me a better way to explaining to the student. So that is why I have adopted this. So I think DNS is clear and DHCP is clear. Okay, so I'll just depict the whole procedure. I'll just go on PPT, my PPT. Where is my PPT? So this is a PPT which describes the complete procedure. So just look into that. In this case, this is my computer, okay, and this computer needs to load a Google page, okay, through with the help of the browser. Okay, so this computer is running a web browser and asking to load a Google page. Okay, now what is the procedure then? The procedure is just maybe this is the web server. Web server is here. This is the IP address of web server. Okay. Now it should be loaded from here. DNS server is here. Okay. So first of all, we have to connect with the DNS server to get the IP address of that. Okay. So this is the complete procedure. First procedure. First procedure is that you have to first acquire the IP address. Okay, so how basically I should configure my computer. So just look into that. The entire protocol detail has been written here. DHCP runs where? In the application layer. If you are using the DHCP protocol, the next protocol which is going to be used is the UDP. Next protocol which is going to be used is the UDP protocol. So since you have already done, many of you have already done BCA course, so you must be having some detail about the TCP and UDP. Even you don't have, I just wanted to give you a logical perspective that what is basically the difference between TCP and UDP and why we have used UDP protocol. So in the transport layer, there are two main protocols which are used. One is TCP and another one is the UDP. UDP is unreliable delivery and TCP is reliable delivery. What is reliable and unreliable? I just wanted to give a best example. If you are doing registered post or speed post, that may be considered as a TCP connection, or that may be considered as a reliable transmission. And if you are sending just a normal post, like writing something on the postcard and sending to your friend, that is unreliable. Unreliable means we do not know that whether the packet has been received by the receiver or not. I'm not sure about it. Though UDP is best for delivery and packet is not going to be lost, okay, that we believe, but I'm not sure whether I have sent it which has been received by the receiver or not. So in abstract way, this is the UDP. In TCP, we know that this is the destination and I have to send and the packet has been received. So we get basically an acknowledgement of receipt of the packet. So in a speed post, you can track and you can see and you can come to a conclusion that packet has been received or not. Similar thing is here, you get an acknowledgement about the packet, whether it has been received or not. The second important difference is that in TCP, first of all, you have to establish the connection and then you have to transfer the packet. Please do remember this point. This is very important, that first of all, you have to establish a connection and then you have to send the packets. There onwards, you need not to do again, connection establishment is not going to be done again and again. Source and destination selected. I have made a proper negotiation that this is my speed, this is your speed, and accordingly, based on that negotiation, with a particular speed, I will transmit my data so that receiver will get it. And receiver will also give a response that I have received. In case of UDP, we do not have any such connection establishment procedure. We will just send it to the destination. Even we do not know whether that destination exists or not. So that is why I am telling this is very important, because we can only use UDP protocol, because I am sending DHCP request, and at the time of sending, even my computer, it does not know whether the DHCP server exists or not. If DHCP server does not exist or may not be working in the local network, then my request may get failed. So I cannot proceed with TCP protocol, because TCP protocol, we must be knowing who is the destination, and I have to establish a connection and then only we can transfer the packet. But here I am making use of UDP protocol. So I think it is very clear that why we are using UDP protocol, because DHCP server, whether it exists or not, if it exists, where it is, I do not know, so we cannot establish a connection. Normally, wherever it is possible that we know the destination, then definitely we will preferably use the reliable communication, and which is TCP. है ना, जब भी आपको चिट्ठी लिखना होता है, you always do either registered post or a speed post. You do not go for postcard writing, because you know reliability. But here we cannot do it. That is our restriction. So that is why I am adopting UDP protocol. Next is IP protocol. IP, so we have to use either IP version 4 or IP version 6. We have only these two options. So we have to make use of either IP version 4 or either IP version 6. And after that, we are using the LAN. So I'll have to make use of Ethernet. Okay, so though it is, I may have other options also in the Ethernet. I can use basically this technology are standard by IEEE, Institutions of Electrical Engineering. This is the standard who is making the who is defining the transmission procedure. So as per the standard, we have IEEE standard 802.3, 802.3 is a standard for wired communication over the LAN through the Ethernet. Similarly, we have IEEE 802.11. IEEE 802.11 is a standard for wireless communication. Okay, so I am not going in detail of that. So this is what is standard. So we have to make use of that, and then we have to convert our data in the electrical signal and then transmitting. So what are the headers that has been included? First, DHCP. DHCP के बाद फिर we have included the header of UDP. Then after we have included the header of IP, and then Ethernet. Physical layer have no header. You just see. Physical layer have no header, and then DHCP request goes out from my computer, and then it reaches to DHCP server. DHCP server decapsulate. Okay, so first of all it opens the Ethernet header, then IP header, then UDP header, and then it is given to DHCP protocol. Then DHCP protocol understands that this is the DHCP request. Okay, so if it is a request, I must have to generate a reply, because as a DHCP server, what is the meaning of server? The server is one who provides the service. So whenever a request will come to the server will provide the service. And what service DHCP server is supposed to give? DHCP server is supposed to give the IP address and other configuration. Okay, moving ahead, just see the things have been written. This is I am just showing you so that it should remain in your reference. Okay, so later on if you want to refer that what has been covered in the class, you can refer it from this PPT. So connecting a laptop needs to get its own IP address, address of first hop router, address of DNS server. Address of first hop router means default gateway, and address of DNS server. Use DHCP. DHCP request encapsulated in UDP, already stated, encapsulated in IP, encapsulated in 802. Standard protocol, 802.3, 802.5, 802.11, depending upon the medium. Now, as I stated earlier also, the Ethernet frame is broadcasted because we do not know who is DHCP server. So destination MAC address is all F. On LAN, receive that router running DHCP server. Now, if a server is running, and normally I just wanted to tell you that normally what we do, the first hop router runs a DHCP server and it assigns an IP address. Or if you are using Wi-Fi services, just like in hostel में आप लोग Wi-Fi service use करते हैं. So at that time, the access point, in the first access point through which you get the connectivity, has already been configured with DHCP server. So that access point is also supposed to give you the IP address. So I will tell you that any device over the network can be configured as a DHCP server, and that is not a very great deal. I will show you practically, then you will understand that these are very easy things anyone can do. Okay, so this is what is happening. This is about the request. Now the request reached to the destination, then demuxed. Demuxed means opening the headers, okay, and giving it to DHCP server. Okay, now this is just a reply. DHCP server formulates a DHCP acknowledgement containing client's IP address of first hop router. First hop router means default gateway, the client name, IP address, and DNS server. So all those details will be given by the DHCP server. Encapsulated DHCP server frame forwarded to switch learning through LAN, demultiplexing at the client. So the switch is intelligent enough. आपसे पैकेट मिला था, तो योर थिंग्स हैव बीन ऑलरेडी रिकॉर्डेड एंड अकॉर्डिंगली द रिप्लाई विल बी जनरेटेड, है कि नहीं? जब आपने रिक्वेस्ट किया तो स्विच हैज लर्न यू दैट यू आर कनेक्टेड विथ दिस पर्टिकुलर पोर्ट, so learning has been done. Now when the packet will come to a switch which is destined towards you, the switch is smart enough to forward it to you. So this is a complete detail. Okay, now the DHCP client receives the DHCP acknowledgement reply, and client now have IP address and all other details. Okay, so this is the first procedure. Now it has been configured. अब configure होने के बाद, now what are the things which is required to generate an Google web request. Okay, so first of all, if you have to generate a packet to Google, to request to Google, then I must need a MAC address of Google. Okay, and to obtain the MAC address of Google, what we need to do? We have to run a ARP protocol. Okay, so before sending HTTP request, need IP address of google.com. Okay, after that we have to make use of DNS server. Okay, so MAC, अब अभी हमारे पास क्या आ गया? 6 एड्रेस चाहिए थे हमको. क्या क्या 6 एड्रेस हैं? Source IP, destination IP, source MAC, destination MAC, source port, destination port. How many we have? We already know through the ARP. We have learned the MAC address. Destination MAC address is learned. Source MAC address I already know. Okay. Source IP of my computer. Destination IP of google.com, that we do not know. Okay, and source port will be any port which is greater than randomly selected by the operating system. Okay, must be greater than 1024. Destination port, since I am going to use HTTP services, so destination port will be 80. So all things are not known except what is the IP address of google.com. For that I have to run the DNS. Okay, so I will make a DNS query created encapsulated in UDP, in IP encapsulated in Ethernet. Okay, something like that. Okay, and make a request. The request will go to that DNS server, and DNS server will make a reply. देखिए यहाँ पे DNS server है, DNS server is making a reply. Okay, so this reply reaches to that, and then HTTP request. लेकिन Google server से जब हम कनेक्ट करेंगे तो what I will make? HTTP request. Now when I am requesting a web page from the Google server, then I am making use of HTTP protocol, hypertext transfer protocol. You already know that if you need to retrieve a web page, we have to make use of HTTP protocol. This is a default protocol to retrieving a web page from the internet. आप HTTP नहीं भी लिखेंगे वेब ब्राउजर में, ऑटोमेटिकली the web browser will make use of HTTP protocol. I think this must be known to you. Now, since I am using HTTP protocol by default uses TCP protocol. Okay, because HTTP protocol knows or wants a reliable communication. So first of all, the client will establish a connection to the Google server, and then the subsequent thing like request, reply will be made based on that. Got idea? Because this is TCP. So TCP will establish connection first and then the communication will proceed. So that's the difference. Earlier we are making use of UDP because main reason is that destination was not known. But here we have obtained everything. All 6 addresses are known to me. We know that what is the server address of Google. So I am making a just a TCP request and it is easy. So these you have these protocols, you have to protocol hierarchy you have to verify with the help of the Wireshark as well. HTTP में पैकेट ट्रांसमिशन कैसे होता है, कौन कौन सा लेयर होता है और कौन कौन से प्रोटोकॉल यूज होते हैं, that all you have to verify in the Wireshark. Okay, so this is what HTTP request has been sent on the TCP socket. Okay, so we will also learn that how to create a socket. So this is scene means connection establishment consists of 3 different steps. Connection establishment, hello. So first client will say hello, then server will say hello, and then the acknowledgement will go from the client, and then the connection is going to be establishment. So that is, I'll describe it later on. The TCP connection has been established and then data transmission started. So Google page is now TCP connection established and then Google page is loaded. HTTP request sent to TCP socket, IP datagram containing HTTP request routed to google.com, and then the web server responds with HTTP reply containing a web page. So you just think over that. Just more often we load a page in our computer, but what are basically the protocols which are involved? You could have realized it. It is so complex to just to load a single web page in my web browser. Okay, so as a network engineer, we must be knowing that what are the procedures, and if there is any problem, where exactly is the problem, what exactly is the problem. Okay, so then we can accordingly we can do the debugging operation and we can correct the thing. Okay, so these are complete details. I'll show you in the practically and with the help of the Cisco packet tracer. So I will also, first of all, I'll just go and create a DHCP server, okay, to allocate an IP address to various devices. Okay, now one may ask, sir, if it is DHCP server option is available, why we should go for manual? Which one is best? Automatic one is best, or assigning an IP address with the help of DHCP is best. Okay, so means the automatic or static, which option we should adopt? As a network engineer, if somebody will ask me that whether you should design a static one or whether you should design a automatic one, which one should be assigned? You just do the thinking. I'll just give you a break of 5 minutes and I'll ask answers from your side. Which one is good, automatic one or the manual one? Okay, so I'm just giving you a break of 3 minutes. You just think and give me the answer. Yes, any answer, please? Who will give answer?
So static.
Static. Why?
So more reliable.
Okay. So Purba said that a static which is more reliable. Okay, great. Anybody else? Devanjita? What is your view? Prasanna?
So, static, the administrator need to keep track of each device assigned statically, so DHCP may be better.
Okay. Okay, great. So yes, that is very clear that both the procedure have their pros and cons.
The
Okay.
nature of the communication that decide the which IP which is better, dynamic or static. Like if we are using in home network, then dynamic is better. If we are using in commercial purpose, then static is better.
Okay, so I just wanted to tell you that both the procedures have their pros and cons. If you are adopting the automatic procedures, definitely it is user friendly. User have nothing to do because it is automatic. Automatically, my computer will be configured. If you do manually, then I have to configure. So the user has to take that pen, and sometimes some users are not that trained to do that configuration. For some users, doing this configuration is a very big task and a very complex task. So it depends upon the type of user you are dealing with. IIT KGP adopts a manual mechanism that because the type of user available in the IIT KGP, they are technical people, so that is very easy to deal with them. But if you are dealing in you are doing a network establishment at the railway station, okay, so in the railway stations, multiple visitors are coming, and then if you ask them to configure, then they will definitely not do. Okay, so yes, but what Purba has said that robustness, yes, because you may be knowing that if you are giving some sort of service, the service may sometimes may disappear. You may be having some problem in DHCP server. In that case, what will happen? The internet will remain inaccessible just because you are having some problem in your DHCP server. And you know that in the computer, when computer is working for 24:7, sometimes maybe some problem may arrive in the system. Okay, so that is the issue in case of automatic sort of thing. And the second thing is the cost also. You have to build up an extra infrastructure. You have to install a server, and definitely if you are installing a server, the cost you have to bear. A dedicated server for assigning an IP address, if you are installing, you have to bear a cost. Normally in Wi-Fi, the access point is capable to assign an IP address. So Wi-Fi sort of things are normally automatic. But it doesn't mean that automatic is only way to deal with Wi-Fi. Nothing like that. Okay, so like we do manual procedure in wired network, similarly we can also do in the wireless network. So nothing to do with nothing. There is no difference between wired and wireless. Both places we can go for manual and automatic procedure. Okay, so I think a little bit understanding you may have got. Now I am just demonstrating you that how basically we can create a DHCP server. Okay, and that is responsible to assign an IP addresses. So quickly I'll be doing just giving an switch, and I'll be having 4 different computers. Let's say computer 1, computer 2, computer 3, and computer 4. Okay, so these 4 computers are connected. So maybe if you remember my previous things, I have manually configured all the computers. Okay, but this time, since I am learning DHCP server, so I'll just show you that how DHCP server will configure this PC0, PC1, PC2, and PC3. Okay, what is the current status? There is no IP address, there is no nothing is available. Okay, so but yes, after my configuration, so how basically you have to install a DHCP server in the Cisco packet tracer. I'll just depict you. So first of all, you have to go to the end device. In device may you have to just see that generic, this is the server. So this type of server will be available. So this is server. This is basically server computer. This is server. Now in this server, you may have go to the services. You can provide these many services. Okay, though we are learning in MCA course, so we cannot discuss all the protocol. But yes, if you have an Intune, it is not a great deal. You can go and learn the role of every protocol, which is IoT, FTP, email, AAA, okay, authorization, authentication, and all services, system log, DNS, TFTP, DHCP version 6, DHCP version 4, HTTP. These type of services we can provide with the help of this server. So these servers are capable to provide these services. Okay, now first of all, I will just connect all those computers, and then I'll provide different services. Okay, so just I'll connect. Sorry. Now I cannot connect this and this, because the problem is that there is no empty port. Okay, so what to do in this case? sorry, what has happened? No empty port on the switch, so I have to add a port on the switch. Now how to add a port on the switch? First of all we have to power down the switch. So पहले power down कर देते हैं. अभी देखिए green है तो मतलब power on है, and this is now green is, so that means the switch is off. अब इसमें क्या करेंगे, देखिए ये 4 पोर्ट थे, चारों पोर्ट ऑक्युपाई हो गए क्योंकि मैंने 4 कंप्यूटर कनेक्ट कर दिए. नाउ वी हैव नो मोर पोर्ट्स टू कनेक्ट a new computer, so I will add a new module. This is the module, this is the name of the module, and I'll include here modules. This is the module. What happens? Okay, so 2 more modules I have included so that 2 more computers can be connected with the switch. Okay, so by default the switch is having only 4 modules. Okay, but we required some more, so we have included some more. अब add कर दिया नया module. Now I can just switch on the thing. It has been implemented in the same way as it works in a physical switch. फिजिकल स्विच में सबसे पहले आप पावर डाउन पावर ऑफ करेंगे एंड देन यू ऐड अ न्यू मॉड्यूल एंड देन पावर ऑफ. Okay, so I think it is easy for you to understand. Now since I have added, now I can connect 6 and then I have connected. So now all the devices are connected. Now the thing is that we have to first configure at least the server. So we may not configure these hosts, but server we have to configure. Okay, so we have to assign an IP address. What is the port? Fast Ethernet 0. So Fast Ethernet 0, where is configure Fast Ethernet 0. So what will be the IP address? Statically I am configuring this. Okay, so since it is a DHCP server, so server को तो आपको static ही देना पड़ेगा. Okay, so let's say I am giving 192.168. Let's say maybe 10.1. This is the IP address of what? DHCP server na 10.10. Let's say I am giving 10.10. Subnet mask I have given. Okay, I don't think any doubt is there. So this is the way I have configured the server. Now I am giving the services. Which services I am supposed to give? DHCPs. So I'll select the DHCP service. Okay, now in this case in DHCP service the server pool. Okay, and then default gateway. So I have to give the complete configuration. So first of all I have to give the detail of the default gateway. So what should be the default gateway? 192.168.10.1. That should be the first address, is the default gateway. Now I also have to tell that what is the address of DNS server. Okay, so 192.168.10.11. So let's say that the address of DNS server is 192.168.10.11. Let's say I am just assuming that this is the address of DNS server. Okay, or I may give some other address also. Let's say I'll be giving 172.31.0.11. Okay, so this is the address of DNS server. Now this is the pool of addresses you have to give. Pool of addresses you have to give. Okay, so the one is given to default gateway, so 2 onwards I'll be assigning it to what? To the other hosts. क्योंकि एक तो हमने दे दिया गेटवे का एड्रेस, अब हमको बताना है कि अगर DHCP सर्वर एड्रेस देगा तो कौन सा एड्रेस DHCP सर्वर असाइन करेगा बाकी कंप्यूटर्स, अगर कहीं से रिक्वेस्ट आता है तो कौन कौन से एड्रेसेस दिए जा सकते हैं। तो व्हाट इज द स्टार्ट एड्रेस? नेटवर्क एड्रेस तो फिक्स ही है, 192.168.10 तो फिक्स रहेगा। Now only thing which we can change is the last one. So last one I have already given, 11 तो आपने दे दिया DNS सर्वर को, so that is belonging to different IP group, so there is no problem in that. Now subnet mask is this. So 2 onwards can be given to, what I mean to say is that 2 onwards can be given to any host connected in this network. Now I'll just click on add. So this is what it is. Okay. Server pool. Start IP address 10.0. So 10.0 DNS सर्वर का IP एड्रेस नहीं दिया, DNS सर्वर का IP एड्रेस नहीं दिया। डिफॉल्ट गेटवे भी नहीं दिया। जस्ट अ मिनट, 192.168.10.1. This is the default gateway. Let's say giving the 192.168 and 10 and 11 is the DNS server. Let's say I have given this. Now starting address will be, let's say I am starting from 12. So this is what now I am saving. Yes, so this has been saved successfully. Now just see, this is the pool, this is the pool. What is the address pool? DNS सर्वर का एड्रेस 10.11, डिफॉल्ट गेटवे का 10.1 एंड स्टार्ट IP एड्रेस इज 12, मतलब 12, 13, 14, 15 दिस कैन बी गिवन टू एनी क्लाइंट. ओके, मैक्सिमम नंबर ऑफ यूजर्स विल बी 244. ना सर्विस को क्या करना है, ऑन कर देना है. आई जस्ट हैव मेड सर्विस ऑन. ओके, दैट इज ओके. बस इतना करके एंड दैट इज वी हैव कॉन्फ़िगर्ड द सर्वर एंड दैट्स ओके. So server is configured. Okay, now what configuration we have to do in the PCs? What is the current IP address? No IP address. The server is working, but still we have not got IP address. Why? Because PC we have to prepare that, we have to tell that how basically you do the configuration. So here it is static. So what I should do? DHCP. Understood? So DHCP, as soon as I have given the DHCP request goes, and then we have acquired already the IP addresses and DNS server address. अब देखिए यहाँ पे, अब जाइए यहाँ and then you go, I'll just go on the DHCP, I'll just go on the command prompt and I'll write IP config. I'll give the complete detail. देखिए सब कुछ मिल गया. IP address, this will be the IP address, this will be the subnet mask, and this is my default gateway. Further, we also have a gateway. You just see, it may not be visible to you. The gateway is there and DNS server is also mentioned, 192.168, 10 and 11. Okay, so basically my PC0 is configured. Similarly, PC1 में क्या करना है? Configure, go to DHCP. This will also be configured. जैसे ही DHCP किया आ गया एड्रेस 192.168, 10.11 is the DNS server address. Gateway is 192.168, 10.1. यहाँ पे भी जाएंगे, what I'll do? DHCP. यहाँ पे भी जाएंगे, what should do? DHCP. Now just see, अब जहाँ पे भी जाएंगे PC में, just see the IP address is 12. इसको देखिए 13 मिला होगा, 13 192 68 10 13, गॉट आइडिया। एंड अदर डिटेल्स, गेटवे का एड्रेस ये है, डीएनएस सर्वर का एड्रेस ये है, गॉट आइडिया। नाउ PC2 सेम थिंग, एड्रेस इज IP एड्रेस इज 14, क्योंकि हमने रेंज दिया था कि 12 के बाद आपको देना है। स्टार्टिंग एड्रेस इज 12, so 12 13 14 something like that. Gateway address is there, DNS server is there. PC3 192 168 10 15, okay. Gateway is this, DNS server is this. Now what I mean to say is that this server is capable to give IP addresses to these PCs. If you include some more PC, that PC is also going to be configured by this server. This is how DHCP server works. This is how DHCP server works. Okay. Now in a simple example, I'll just include one more thing, two more things basically we have to add. One I'll add is I'll go there, I'll add here one server and this server. Now I'll rename it, I'll just rename I'll name it as a DHCP, since it is a DHCP server. So this is DHCP, just see, this is DHCP. This server I'll made it as a DNS, okay, and this I'll make as a Google server, Google web server, okay. So let's say services not configure Google web server. So this is Google server, this is DNS server, this is DHCP server. What is the role of DHCP server? To assign an IP addresses to all PCs, which has already been done. Now second case में क्या होगा? Second case में क्या होगा? ये request अगर हम Google पेज का करेंगे तो first of all it will go and find the IP address of Google. Who will give the IP address of the Google? That is given by DNS server. Okay. So now first of all, what is the DNS server address? DNS server address is 10.11. Just look into that DNS server address. So 10.11 पे first of all you just connect, connection करते हैं, connection 7 and then 1. Now we have no more ports, so I have to add some more ports. So first of all I'll just switch off and then I'll add some more ports here. फिर से port add कर दिए. Got idea? Because I have to connect this one also. So I'll connect this and this. Okay. Now after connecting that, I will. This is the fast Ethernet 0 port. So fast Ethernet 0 will be given an IP address. What IP address I should give here? This is the DNS server. And what is the IP address of DNS server? 192.168.10.10. See यहाँ पे that what we have assumed, what configuration has been given to my PC. So now just I want to give another example. If you see the IP address like 169.254.170.70.16, it means what? It means it has not been configured. So earlier it was not configured, but now you just see it has been configured. now acquired the proper IP address, and the DNS server is 192.168.10.11. So I'll just write here also what is the DNS server. 192.168.10.11. sorry, .11. This is required because many times. Yes.
सर सर DNS सर्वर में सर अंदर IP एड्रेस तो सर 10 दिया था आपने अभी.
Okay, so that may be wrong. Okay, so because it is 11, so I have to go and then correct. Yes, thank you for helping. Otherwise, I'll be in the problem. And what is the IP address of DNS server? 10.10. Okay, so here I have to write 192. So that is what I will suggest you. You must write these things. So this will help you to understand and help you to configure. Okay. So यहाँ पे हमने ये कर दिया, यहाँ पे हमने ये कर दिया. So this should be very clear कि हाँ यहाँ पे इसका ये एड्रेस है, इसका ये एड्रेस है. And Google server का भी, let's say I am giving some address. Some address I will be giving. So 12 to I cannot give, so I will be giving 192.168, and then I will be giving 10, and then I may give any address below 10, so I'll be giving 9. Okay. So these are the configurations. It is available to you. So here also I have to configure. करना होगा configure. What should I configure here? I must configure the Google server with, what is the address of Google? 192.168.10.9. Okay. So this is I have done. So all things have been configured. Now what has been left is the configuring the services. Okay. So DNS, here I have configured the DHCP service, but here I have not configured the DNS service. So I will go services. What I have to do? DNS services. So I have to configure. What basically I have to do? I have nothing to do. I have to just do that. I'll be writing here www.google.com and corresponding IP address. So if there is any request comes for Google, I will give the IP address. So what is the IP address of the Google server? Just look into that. 192.168 and then 10.9. Correct? So I will just save or add. Save. Okay, so I will select a record. A record. What is the meaning of different record? I may teach later on. So this is what a record. And then I have to switch on the DNS service on. DNS service को on करना होगा. अगर आप on करना भूल गए, you have configured everything, but आपने configure on करना भूल गए, तो it will not work. So DNS services now is on. So whenever you look for www.google.com, the corresponding IP address will be given. So this is about DNS. Now coming to Google server. अब Google server में हमको क्या करना है? I have to come services and I have to switch on the web services. Already by default the web services are on, so there is no more problem. So what we can do is that these web pages are already available. HTTP already on. HTTP is already on. So nothing to do. I can also edit these web pages. देखिए ये वेब पेज है तो I can include something more. I can have if you know the HTML programming, you can do the HTML programming. You can add some headers, like I am adding header. Okay, and I am writing my name, Krishna Vijay. I'll do that H1, so that I should come to know that the same page is loaded. This is the index page. Save. Yes. Okay, so all those things have been configured. Now I'll go to the PC0. PC0 is already configured. That means DHCP is working. Okay, now DHCP is working. Then first of all, I'll go to the PC and go to the desktop, go to the command prompt. Okay, and first of all, I'll check that whether I am connected with all or not as a network administrator. So I will first ping the DHCP server. So DHCP server is 192.168.10 and 10. However, this is not mandatory. This is just to demonstrate you. Okay, I am connected with DHCP server, well connected. This is not mandatory, just to verify whether my network is properly configured or not. Now I am pinging the DNS server. Yes, DNS server properly configured. Now I look for web server 10.9. Yes. Okay, so connection is okay with all the hosts. Okay, now what I'll do is that I will go to the desktop option. Once again I have to go PC0 desktop, web browser में जाते हैं. Okay, and then I'll write what? Google.com. Google.com. Just press enter. Host is unresolved. Okay, http://www. I don't know what is the problem. Yes, just see that page is loaded. Krishna Vijay. Got idea? So I have written a correct thing, and then page is loaded. Though I have not given the IP address of Google, but still, since I have configured my network properly, so the things are working, and Google page is loaded. I may have designed a Google page like that. So that is different. Okay, so I just have demonstrated the complete network. Okay, but what I have done is that I have included all servers in your local network, but actually it does not happen. DNS server and Google server maybe is a part of another network. So this is what you have to do. This is what you have to do. What you have to do is that you have to include a router. This is your assignment. So generic router, where is generic router? This is router. And then you have to compute, connect. Again, no ports are available. So I have to add some more ports. Sorry. I have to go to this. I have to physical switch on, add some more port. Okay, now I'll just switch on. ऐड हो गया, ऑन कर दीजिए. And then we have to add from here to here. Okay, and then we have to include some more number of switches. Here we have to do localhost server, generic server. ठीक है, it is just an idea I am giving you. Then we will be connecting this to this. Okay, and then this will be connected with this server. Okay, now this is basically DNS server. So here we have to assign an IP address, maybe 172.31.10.10. ये आपका 16 बिट का रहेगा. Okay, so this is the server. Okay, and Google page again maybe on the another network. Okay, so just see what we are supposed to do is that here you have to include the Google server, Google. Okay, and this should be your DNS. Okay, and this is you are supposed to do. This is the assignment for you. You have to remove these two. Okay, only DHCP server will be in the local network. Okay, will be in the local network. Other this is in the one network, DNS server. DNS server is supposed to give the IP address of web server. So you have to just make a little change. That means, what I mean to say is that this particular thing may be in one network, okay, and this particular thing may be in the another network. DNS and Google may be in the another network, and DHCP तो अपना ही network का part होना ही पड़ेगा. There is no difference. So this is what you have to implement. So you have to make little changes. The DNS server address is this. Similarly, you give any other address to this. Let's say I'll be giving a address. Here is the, let's say 172.31.10.9 maybe the address given to Google server. Okay, so this practical you have to do, and you have to submit it to me. The outcome you have to give it to submit it to me. You just see that whether DHCP server is working or not, DNS is working or not, or Google page is going to be loaded or not. So these PCs, PC0, PC1, PC2, PC3, from any PC I can load the web page may be available on the Google web server. Understood? Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so with that, hope I am leaving you. You just implement this particular example. Okay, because if you see in this one also, just I'm going with that. This is the best example, more generic example. My computer is a part of one network. DNS is a part of another network, and Google is a part of another network. So there are three different networks. One is my school network or college network. One is the another network of the DNS server network. Another is a web server. Good idea. And I just wanted to tell here is just for your theoretical knowledge, some school and colleges also make their own DNS servers. That means like SMIT also have their own DNS server. उसमें क्या किया है, सब मैपिंग बना के रख लिया है. And how do they are doing the mapping? One may ask, sir, registration तो वो लोग central portal पे करता है, how do SMIT will know? So basically SMIT का पास जो भी कैश है, like currently I am connected with Google. So what is the Google IP address? It is known to me. So I have made an entry in my local DNS server. That is known as local DNS server. And if some user is looking for some web pages or some web server which entry is not available in my local DNS server, then the query will be redirected from local DNS server to global DNS server. This automatically done. And the second important thing about the DNS I want to include here is that the DNS server is not only the single server. There are multiple servers. Okay, they are keeping the IP addresses, and it is not possible that all the web server should be record of all web server is available in single server. So what they do is that they work in a coordinated way. So let's say if there are 7 global server, so before giving a reply that host is not resolved, they will make a request to the other global servers. Okay, so just I wanted to tell you that suppose I have made a group of 7 people in the MCA class. Okay, and I am having some work to do. Now suppose my higher authority has given me a work, then what I'll do, first of all I'll try to solve myself. If not able to solve, then I'll ask from my other team members. Others also not team member 2 not able to solve, team member 3, team member 4, team member 5, team member 6, team member 7. If all of them are not able to solve, then I'll only make a reply that this cannot be solved by us. Otherwise, before making a reply, we will all try to solve or resolve the DNS query in a coordinated way. So this is how the internet is organized. Okay, so a single DNS server may not be serving the entire world. Okay, so now these DNS servers are also distributed in a geographically area. Okay, so maybe for India there is one DNS server, maybe for other continent there is another DNS server. Okay, and they are solving the things. But sometimes they need to work in a coordinated way. Okay, so always may not be able to solve the query in a standalone way. So this is some detail about the DNS server. Okay, but yes, you could at least have a basic idea that how DNS server works. Okay, what is the role of DNS server and how pages are going to be loaded with the help of DNS server. So even if we remember the name of the web page, we can load the page. This is only possible because DNS server is helping us. Okay. So with that, I'm finishing my lab class. You must do your own experiment and submit it to me.
Sir.
Yes. Yes, please.
Sir, while we are configuring IP address of some PCs statically, and in the same router, in the same network, sir, there may be thousands of PCs and there may be 2 or 3 network versions. What happens, sir, if IP address is given same of 2 PCs mistakenly or something, sir? But what happens, sir?
Okay, that is a case of IP conflict. Okay, that is a case of IP conflict, and in that case, your network will be in the dicey condition. Sometimes the request or response may be made for PC0, it may be given to PC1. Sometimes it is like that. Okay, so because both the computers having the same configuration, so this will happen. Okay, so maybe request is generated from PC0, but what we'll understand that request may have been generated from PC1, so reply will be given to PC1. This sort of thing will happen. Otherwise, yes, both the computer will operate, okay, but collision will occur. Collision will occur, and nowadays computers means the your computer is smart enough, so it will notify you that there is some conflict, okay, so that you can correct your configuration. Why? What is the reason? Because sometimes you will receive the packet, sometimes you will not receive the packet, so your communication will not be completed in that case. So a static, if you and this is a very genuine question. If you are doing a static configuration, yes, there is a high chances that you have configured the same IP address, and I have also configured with same IP address, because a single digit difference may play a significant role. Because just I am giving an example. SMIT has given me an address 221. And my neighbor is having 220. So by mistake, he may configure with 221, then my IP address and his IP address will conflict. So both will be in the problem. Both will be in the problem. Sometimes I may be able to communicate it properly, and sometimes I may not. Is it okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Anything else?
No, sir.
Okay, then I'm finishing. I'm exiting. I'll take attendance.